Every first day of each month is the OQJF day. I don't know if you know the OQJF movement. These are the initials of the phrase, "What would Jesus do?" in Portuguese. This OQJF movement has one aim. It aims to lead people to ask themselves, what would Jesus do in my place? What would Jesus do in this situation? And through this question, a sincere search for the answer, that they may find the best way to act and react, as if Jesus was in their place. What would Jesus do? It's every first day of each month because He must be first in our lives. This must be our first thought, to put Him first. Now, how to know? One question that this question generates is, how will I know what Jesus would do in my place? How will I know what Jesus would do about my child, my marriage, my financial life? How will I know the answer to this? Do you know when you know a person so well, maybe someone who has already passed, but from living with them for so long, maybe they passed or they are far from you, haven't seen them in a long time, and you are faced with a situation, you are with friends and family members who also know the person, and you remember the person at the time. Due to what happened, your memory is activated and you remember the person and you say, if so-and-so were here, they would say this and that. If so-and-so were here, they would do this and that. Certainly, you've been through this. What made you remember the so-and-so? To know exactly what they would say or do if they were there. Your intimacy with them. How well you knew them, for how long you've lived with them, you could predict what they would say or do if they were in that situation. It's no different with the Lord Jesus. For you to know what Jesus would do in your place, you need to have knowledge about Him, to be intimate with Him. How do I do this? How can I be intimate with Jesus? To know Jesus well. A great start is to read His words. You to become familiar with the thoughts of the Lord Jesus. The thoughts, the words of Jesus are His thoughts. So when you read the Gospels, there are 4 Gospels, through the point of view of 4 different eyewitnesses to what Jesus did, said, how He acted and reacted, these 4 Gospels that talk about and testify of the Lord Jesus, we have the record of the words of the Lord Jesus. Words that at times are repeated out there as popular sayings, and people don't think about them. But if you really want to know a person, you need to stop and pay attention to their words. So what would Jesus do in your situation? If you want to know that, first, start to make reading and meditating on the Gospels a habit. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Read the Gospels. Many Bibles come with a useful feature, which is the words of the Lord Jesus printed in red. The rest of the text is printed in black, but the words of the Lord Jesus are printed in red. This is useful to know all that Jesus said, because all in red are the words of the Lord Jesus. So reading the words, you cannot read them as one who eats or devour a sandwich like someone who eats a sandwich without eating the whole morning and in one bite swallows the whole sandwich. You cannot devour the words of the Lord Jesus like that. If you really want to get to know Him, you have to taste and enjoy the words of the Lord Jesus. You must meditate on His words, and each word that He said were random, by chance, to pad out His speech. All His words had a suitable target. Often, people were even in awe when He would speak, because His words were so strong that people at times they would be in awe. With no words, His accusers had no answer, nowhere to run. So start reading, learning the words of the Lord Jesus. Whoever listens and practices what He says is as a person who, regardless of the storm, the enemies that come against them, they will be firm like a house on the rock. Nothing will shake them. You need to put this into practice in your life. The more you put these words into practice, the meditation of the words of the Lord Jesus, putting them into practice in your life, so the answer to this question will be automatic. You will know what Jesus would do in your place. This will serve as a compass. You will never be unaware of what to do again, or confused. What should I do? What should I not do? You will never depend on others to guide you again. I remember that yesterday we received a couple here at the Temple of Solomon for the first time, visiting us from another state, and they follow our work through the internet, the work of the Love School, and they came to speak to me. And the wife told me, a little emotional, I would like to speak to Christiane. Could you call her? But unfortunately, she had already left. She was no longer there. And I told her, I saw that she was quite emotional. I told her, listen, she's not here, but I promise that I'll send your regards to her as soon as I see her in the house. And she said that because Christiane was helping her so much with her words, and she said, I would like to be like her, to have what she has in terms of knowledge, counseling. I would like to be like her. And I told her, no, you shouldn't think like that. You should desire more than that, to be more than Christiane. What do I mean with being more than Christiane? Is to desire to have the spirit that she has. If you have the spirit that Christiane has, the spirit that is in her, then you will be like her or better than her. And you will be your own version, without having to compare yourself with her, because just like her, I saw that there was no bad intention behind, but she was just being genuinely innocent. Just like her, as many, instead of asking, what would Jesus do? They ask, what would Christiane do? What would the pastor do? What so-and-so would do? No, don't worry about people. You have the best example in the world. If you are going to imitate someone, follow the perfect one, because all the others are imperfect. All humans are imperfect. If you're going to follow someone, follow the perfect one. So look at him. Aim to have his spirit, because he will teach you and mold you. And you will never again have doubts about what to do. Whether reading his words, meditating on the Gospels, or not finding in the Gospels exactly what you need to do in that situation, but you asking him what you need to do because his spirit is available to whoever wants to be guided by him. You pray, you ask, and he gives you a direction. Be certain that the Spirit of the Lord Jesus will never leave you without an answer. So, from today on, you should, not only on the first day of every month, but daily, ask yourself, what would Jesus do in my place? Is the question that will bring you all the answers. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.